So your app, after we connected the app, and if you want to try it, we click on the simulator, and the simulator will install the app and run it. So I had the simulator already opened, and you can click on the app after install, and you see here the splash screen quickly opens to the white screen here, which represent the screen on our main storyboard. If you go to the main storyboard, you see here this is the white screen, and the launch screen opens first, and then it leads to the storyboard. On the simulator, if you go to hardware, you'll see home, and you can go to home by clicking shift command H, and if you do shift command H twice, you open that uh, the view where you can see open apps, and you can close the app if you would like to open it again. This is the simulator to the iOS 10, and that opens with the application. So the last part of the project setup is to add some information. So I'll add here a label in the object library. These are different components that can be added to the user interface. So I'm going to add a label component. You see here, once you added, there are some lines that show up, rulers, to help you align the component. And as you adjust the size of the component, you see a width and a height guide that help you with that process. I will type information here for the copyright, and then I put my name, and this app is not really copyrighted. This is for training. I'm just giving you some example of information that you can add for your project. If you want to add a new line, you can hit enter. That will enter the information. You see in the attribute inspector, in the text, whatever we typed shows up here, and I believe if you click the option button with the function button and enter, you can enter new lines. This is 2017, and then option and enter. You will enter new line, so you can have a new line here and say today's quote app, and enter any other information you want. And once you leave that space and hit enter from here to something else, it show up in your project. It is not showing up on the label because the label, as you can see in the line attribute, this is an attribute inspector. On the lines, it says only one line, that the label is only able to show one line, but I entered more than one line. So as you expand the number of lines, see here what happened when I made it 2 lines. It added the stuff, but you see the 3 dots. It means that there is more, but it is cut off. So it's very important when you add text on a user interface to make sure it doesn't get cut off like that. So I added 3 lines, added 4 lines, and there is more here. So I'll just expand further. And I believe I have more lines, 5 lines, so I cut those lines, and that should be fine. You can align middle, you can change the font color to any other font color, and you can change the font type and size if you would like, and so on. There are many different attributes, and I actually advise all of you, as we introduce new attributes and introduce new components, is to learn more about those components. If you go to the help inspector and you select a component, it will give you some information about that component that you can read about, and then give you a link to the documentation about this particular component. We will be covering some information about app development, but the more you can learn on your own and the more you practice on your own, the better you become as a developer. This is a hands-on practice type environment, and the more you do it, the more you will be good at it. As we conclude with the setup of that screen, actually we can yeah, we'll stop here. I was thinking of maybe adding an image, so let's do that. One of those components is an image view. As you can see, there's so many. Here it is, the image view. So if you add an image view, an image view is a rectangle area that has the capability of loading an image, of displaying an image. But you have to add the image to your project first. So to add an image, you can go to Assets, and you can add an image by clicking on the Add, and say I want to add an image set. And then you put the image in here by dragging it from your computer. So I have an image. I believe I put it here. It is. So I'll add the image here. And if you have another version of the image at double the size and triple the size, you can add them as well, so that the iOS can select the appropriate one when needed. So now I go back to the splash screen and select the image that I added in the image view, and perhaps adjust the size to reflect the actual size of the image. And this was an image with background, so maybe you should download or create an image that has a transparent background. And if you download an image, that make sure it is not copyrighted. If so, we're doing this for education purpose, so you can add where you got the image from. So that's all for the splash screen, and that will conclude our iteration number 2. And the next step will be iteration 3, where we add the developer add a single quote to the main screen, and we'll do that in the next video.